Hello, and welcome to the Coquitlam Writers Group channel. My name is Ted Yabut. In this channel, you will meet our members and learn how they finished and published their books. If you're a new writer struggling to finish your book and getting it published, you might want to join our writers group in your area or on Zoom. Or better yet, watch this channel to meet authors and learn how they manage the writing and publishing process. Today, let me introduce Margie Taylor. She grew up in Thunder Bay, attended Lakehead University, and began her radio career there. As a CBC Radio host and producer, she worked in Vancouver, Calgary, and the UK. She hosted regional and national programs, wrote a syndicated parenting column, and appeared regularly on arts and entertainment programs across the country. Her book reviews and op-ed articles have appeared in the Globe and Mail, the Calgary Herald, and Active Adult. And she's the author of 4 novels: Harrow Road, Displaced Persons, some of Skippy's Blues, and Rose Addams, the book that we will feature today, as well as a collection of humorous essays, of which 60 is the New 20, A Boomer's Guide to Aging and Grace, Dignity, and What's Left of Your Self-Respect. In 2019, she published a collection of her book reviews. I'll read that for you: A Bluffer's Guide to 101 Books You Should Read Before You Die, as should we all. In 2007, she attended the University of Guelph and received her Master's of Science degree in Rural Studies. Currently, she lives in Port Moody, where she teaches EAL and has written a sequel to Rose Addams called Rose in Lockdown. You can check her out on her website, margietaylor.com. Hello, Margie. Welcome.
Hi, Ted. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really pleased we're doing this.
So glad you're here. Now, to start off, tell us about Rose Addams, this new book that you've just launched.
Well, Rose Addams came out with New West Press last spring, April 2023. And when I wrote it, I thought, 20 years ago, I wrote a book called Displaced Persons that was pretty much based on me and my friends back in the 1970s. And it's been a long time since I wrote anything that's that personal. So I started thinking about where I am these days. I'm not in my 20s anymore. Guess what? And I just wanted to write something that resonated with me and with the other people I know, mostly women, although I would not say this is specifically a women's book. It's not like a rom-com fiction, not that women read just that, but it's a book I think that a lot of people can relate to if they have grown kids or even if they don't. And I just wanted to write something that I thought might be a good book club book, because I belong to book clubs and I know the kind of books that people like to read in book clubs. So I think the genre is called a domestic drama, is I think how the publishers call it, domestic drama. So domestic means it's happening around family and friends and kids and that kind of thing. But there is drama, there is conflict in it. So yeah, that's what the book is basically about. It's about Rose, who is just turned 60. Her husband is a couple of years older, Charles. He's got some things happening, some issues. Her kids are grown and sort of launched in what they're going to do. But of course, they're never really entirely launched. And Rose is not one to let them launch easily. She likes to keep a little bit of control. I don't know where that comes from.
What a terrific character. So attractive, so compelling, so intriguing. We want to meet her. You've answered my other questions, which is why you wrote this book and who should read this book. I think our audience is now very much intrigued. Would you do us a favor and read us an excerpt, please?
Sure, I can do that. Absolutely. This is from the first chapter of the book. And in this chapter, Rose has left the grocery store. She's driving home, and there's some traffic, and she has some comments to make. And she gets a phone call from her daughter. Her daughter's name is Morgan, I will just mention. And her daughter lives in Toronto, and Rose is in Vancouver. Just as the traffic ahead of her began to move, her phone rings. Carefully, keeping her eyes on the road, she feels for her phone and puts it on speaker. Hello? Mom? Hey, hon, how are you? Where are you? Are you in the car? You shouldn't answer the phone if you're in the car. It's okay. I've got it on speaker. and the car is barely moving. How are you? Are you at school? You know, it's a big fine if they catch you. It's like $540. Yes, I know. And 4 demerit points. Why don't you connect it to your car? Jason can show you. He did it for Dad, right? Got Bluetooth installed. You should get him to do it for you. I don't want it, Rose says. I don't want people calling me when I'm driving. Then why pick up? It's a reasonable question, but it only serves to irritate her. Is this why you called? To lecture me about the phone? No, I want to talk to you about the wedding. The wedding. Rose has been wanting to talk about the wedding for weeks, ever since Morgan reluctantly confided that she and the lovely Ian were getting married in December, the day after she, Morgan, completes her PhD. Don't make a big thing of it, she said at the time. It's not a big deal. We've been living together for 3 years, remember? So here's the thing. Rose is the least likely person in the world to make a big deal about her daughter's wedding. She and Charles decided on a Friday to get married the following Wednesday. They invited 20 close friends, found a Unitarian minister, and hosted a riotous night at a hotel bar in lieu of a wedding reception. It was months before it even dawned on her that they hadn't had a cake, so she's hardly a bridezilla. The fact that she was delighted when Morgan dropped her bombshell over Christmas doesn't make her a monster. And it was, after all, a bombshell. Morgan being close to 40 and never once, as far as her parents knew, having shown the slightest interest in becoming a wife. At any rate, since the announcement, Morgan has clammed up like a clam. No wedding talk, no shopping for dresses, no info about who's invited or when it's taking place. It's too early, she keeps saying, which it isn't. I've got other things on my mind, which she does. She's been working on her dissertation for over 3 years and is this close to being done. And Ian is working on a film, something for Netflix, Rose thinks, although the nature of his job is a mystery. Morgan says he's an executive producer, which sounds important, but when he was visiting at Christmas, he shrugged it off. I'm the whip cracker, he said, the one everybody loves to hate. Rose can't imagine anyone hating Ian. He is possibly the kindest, most even-natured man she's ever met, and he obviously loves her daughter. Fighting the urge to grab the phone and hold it to her ear, Rose says, "That's wonderful, hon. Yes, let's talk. Have you decided on a venue? Should I come out?" There's a pause, and for a moment, she thinks they've lost the connection. Then Morgan says, "I'll wait till you're out of the car. Call me, okay?" End of chapter.
Wow. What a way to start the book. Only you can write this scene, Margie. It's so perfect. In just one scene, in a car, on a mobile phone, two people talking, you've laid down all the threads of the drama ahead. That's for any writer out there, that's the way you should start a book.
Guess
Character.
who's been lectured before about talking on her phone, and guess who once got stopped by a police officer for doing so?
Oh my God. Well, if it's going to be.
Well, that's a long story. And in the end, I didn't have to pay the fine, but oh boy, did I learn my lesson. So there's your lesson there, Ted. Don't lift your phone up when you're, in the car.
Yeah, only use it in a book. Only in fiction. Right. Only in fiction is it allowed.
Yeah.
And it leads to good writing. The drama helps. Yeah. Well, Margie, thank you very much for that. I'm sure our viewers, our listeners are going to love this and go. The important question now is, where can readers, buyers find this book?
Well, Rose Addams, I'm showing the cover here. I love the cover, by the way. The New West people did it, and I think they did a great job. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the book is available in any bookstore. You can go in and they'll order it from the publisher if they don't already have it in stock. A lot of them do, the regular bookstores do. It's also, and I really want to push the fact that it's at all the libraries. And, every time you take a book out of the library, that gets registered with the Access Copyright people, right? So that once a year, writers get a nice little check sort of from the library, from the books that have come out of the library is what I'm trying to say. So even if you think, well, I can't afford to buy the book, but I can put it on hold in the library and get it out and read it, that gets counted. Writers do earn money from that. And of course, they also earn money if you do a good review on Amazon and it gets pushed up. But basically, so Amazon, bookstores, the library. I think that's about it.
Well, thanks for pointing that out, and thanks for pointing out how readers, whether they can afford it or not, can support writers in any way, shape, or form.
For
I,
sure.
I'm glad you brought one more question. I know you've been part of writing groups, and you are certainly a strong pillar in ours. Why should people, you think, join a writing group?
Well, I'll tell you something. As you know, I dedicated this book to the Coquitlam Writers Group because
Yes.
I started writing it during COVID when we were meeting online. And every week I would get a chance to read a bit of a chapter and I would get feedback. And sometimes I even listened to the feedback, which will surprise people who know me because it was good feedback. The thing that I find about writing groups, and I haven't at the moment because I'm sort of writing all over the place and don't have any good solid projects. But when you've got a project, you've got something you want to write, the great thing about a writer's group, it makes you do two things. It makes you write to a deadline. Like you need something to talk about each week, right? You can't just sit there like a dummy and listen to other people. Secondly, if you're all nervous about hearing what other people have to say, it gives you a chance to just spew it out, and you'll be surprised how positive people will be. Most people will say something good about what you write. Very few people, in fact, I have never encountered anybody in any of my writing groups that said, that is the worst piece of crap I've ever heard. Throw it away, get out of the business, go sell shoes, right? Never. People are remarkably supportive. And you know what? When you write and you're writing in isolation for the most part, right? It's a lonely, I mean, I love it, but it's a lonely way to live your life. These writing groups, they give you the social contacts and they do provide support. I'm thoroughly grateful to the Coquitlam Writers Group for helping me get this book.
Well, thank
you.
Thank you very much. That was not just words of gratitude, but actually words of inspiration, not just to us, but for others listening in or watching that may be in the same situation you just described, in need of help, in need of focus, in need of attention, in need of a deadline. You've said it. Well, Margie, thank you very much for joining and sharing us, this new book that you've launched, and links to where this book can be found will be in the description below and on this particular video. Margie, thank you very much for joining us. We'd love to talk to you again when you're ready to launch your next book.
Yes, I hope that will be sometime within the next decade. Who knows with publishers. Ted, thank you so much. It's always a joy to talk to you. Many, many thanks.
Thank you, Margie. To everybody, thank you for watching. Thanks and good day. Bye-bye.